Hello, we'll be starting very soon.
Hey everyone, hi, we're live. Good afternoon, good morning, good evening, wherever you are. Thank you for joining us today. We're here to discuss the Georgetown FinTech Program, and I welcome everyone who's coming in. We still have participants coming in, I know that. So we'll begin with just a little introduction, and then I'll introduce you to the professors. So how the format is gonna work is that we're gonna have a discussion and talk about the program, and then if you have any questions, you'll see a tab in the middle of your screen, a Q&A tab. Just type in your questions into there and we'll get to them at the end. And if we don't have to run out of time, we don't have enough time, I'll put the email address onto the same email address you actually signed up for the webinar, and you can contact us with any questions you have about the program that we don't get to today. So hi, my name is Susie Zira, and I'm a VP at the Fintech Consortium, as well as Head of Communications and Events at Bahrain Fintech Bay. Let me tell you a little bit about Fintech Consortium. We are a fintech ecosystem builder with hubs around the world, and our aim is to further the development, interaction, and acceleration of the fintech ecosystem. So we collaborate with various market players, which include government bodies, financial institutions, corporates, investors, and innovators, those who believe that technology can bring added value to the financial industry. Our key areas are corporate incubation. We conduct research on trends in fintech. We provide venture acceleration, and we create awareness through our events. And the reason why you guys and all of us are here today is because this is about one of our other core initiatives on the road to building a true fintech ecosystem. This is our Fintech Consortium Institute platform, which we consider a center of excellence in fintech education and training. We provide programs to ensure students have the relevant fintech skill set and knowledge, and we do this how? By teaming up with some of the world's leading universities and fintech pioneers. Today, and at the heart of this initiative, is the Georgetown FinTech Program. We have recently opened applications for the third cohort after successfully running 2 previous sessions. And due to the circumstances, we have sort of pivoted a little bit, and now we're conducting this cohort completely online. And I'm very lucky and pleased and thrilled to have together today with me the 2 professors, the experts behind the program. I have, who you see on your screen now, Professor James Angel. He is Associate Professor of Finance at Georgetown University McDonough School of Business. He's the academic director for this program and has been a finance professor at Georgetown since 1991. He comes from an engineering background, Caltech, plus a finance background, a Harvard MBA and University of California at Berkeley. He's also the co-inventor of 12 fintech patents. Welcome, James.
Thank you.
We also have on the other screen, we have Professor Shai Gilad. He's an adjunct professor and entrepreneur in residence at Georgetown University's McDonough School of Business, where he teaches entrepreneurial leadership, strategy, and innovation. He's also co-director of Georgetown's Business Incubator. He's co-founder and CEO of ProJet Aviation, a former airline captain, which is very interesting, and leadership trainer at JetBlue Airways, ICF certified leadership coach. Welcome, Shai. He's trained hundreds of executives, entrepreneurs to successful outcomes. He's also led multiple startups in entertainment, air transportation, and leadership development industries. He's passionate about leadership, if I'm correct, and innovation and random acts of hospitality. Hi, Shai.
Hey,
welcome,
good morning. Or, well, hello.
I hope that was a good introduction, and I hope I didn't miss out anything about who you are. You're absolutely very interesting and such great backgrounds. I guess let's start and kick off with about the program. Like Jim, and I guess I'll leave it to both of you can answer back and forth. Who is this program for? Who is the Georgetown FinTech program for?
This program is for serious professionals who want to learn more about the fintech revolution. There is a revolution going on in financial technology, or fintech, and this program is for people who want to learn more about it. So most of our attendees are basically professional adults who come from a variety of different backgrounds. We have tech people who want to get into finance, we get finance people who want to get into tech, and we have people from a variety of backgrounds, legal backgrounds, other backgrounds, who basically want to learn more about what's going on. Oh, Susie, you're muted.
I just realized that. This is one of the tech things. I think I'm gonna need this program. So tell us a little bit about the program. How is it, like, how long is the program? That probably give us a little bit of an idea of the structure of the program.
Oh, I'm happy to. It's a 12-week program, and it is patterned after a very successful Masters of Science in Finance program at Georgetown. Now, that is a one-year master's degree in finance that is a hybrid in-person and online program. And that is sort of the model that we use. So we start off with an introductory module where we get together with live sessions. Now, obviously, in the COVID world, the live sessions are held virtually like this one. But we get together and we start off with icebreakers, introductions. We form you into groups, and you also have live sessions with not only Shai and myself, but also guest speakers as well. Then we have a series of modules, each one lasting about 2 weeks, which will start off with some reading assignments and also some pre-packaged videos that will introduce the material. And the great thing about this is you can watch it on your own time, but we also have interactive live sessions where we will go over the assignments, where sometimes we'll have guest speakers, and you'll have opportunities to ask questions and interact with the professors and with your classmates. So this is not just a program where you watch a bunch of glorified YouTube videos. It is a program where you actually get to interact with other people in the fintech revolution. Now, while this is going on, the modules will be covering the various fintech verticals, but also you'll be on a journey of exploration of entrepreneurship. Now let my colleague, Professor Gilad, talk much more about that. But what you'll be doing is you'll be examining a fintech enterprise from the perspective of an entrepreneur and figuring out how to discover the customers. Again, I'll let Professor Shai talk about that in more detail. But what you'll be doing at the end is your team will actually present your results in the grand finale, and there will be a prize for the team that does the best job.
Yeah, that's great. And I can share a little bit on the entrepreneurship side as well. So Professor Angel and I have worked very closely together to make entrepreneurship an integral component of this program. And the reason is that, fintech is a leading edge sector for innovation. So as Professor Angel, as you've heard, holds several patents himself in this space, and the skill set that we're trying to impart upon you that's woven in throughout this course is really about an entrepreneurial mindset and entrepreneurial thinking. And we want to give you a toolkit of how we teach modern entrepreneurship using the same practices and the same frameworks that the companies, these monsters that roam the earth, Google, Amazon, the social media platforms, Netflix, all of them have used and use every day to run thousands and thousands of experiments to understand better what is happening, right? To test new avenues, new products and services. So we wanted to give you that experience, and you'll do that by working together in collaborative teams as you also complete the fintech assignments, where you'll be taking a deep dive during each module to learn a specific component of fintech. In parallel to that, you will be doing what we call a live case study. So you'll be looking at a fintech company within a specific vertical within the fintech sector, and you'll be doing a complete analysis on them as you learn to apply these new entrepreneurial frameworks and tools. And when you finish this course, you will understand all of the key components of how this type of organization works. So whether you want to start an organization like yourself, if you want to do a fintech startup, you'll have an understanding of what that looks like and exactly where to start. If you're in a company and you want to launch a new product or service, especially in the fintech sector, this program will be a launching pad for you to be able to do exactly that.
I'd just like to tie in, because both of you mentioned two different things. So James, you were talking about, I think how does it work together? So if you can tell us a little bit more about the modules and then where the teamwork fits in as well. James, I guess the type of modules and what kinds of things will they be learning along the way? And then how does the teamwork fit into that?
Great question. So basically the way we divide our spheres of influence here is, I cover the finance and the tech side, and Professor Gilad covers the entrepreneurial side. And now on the fintech side, Each week, or rather each module, there is a group assignment, a group exercise, in which you will examine one fintech area in more detail and produce a PowerPoint deck that is a presentation for the class. And it's a group exercise. You may or may not be called upon to actually present it at our live session, but there's always a risk of that. So you gotta be on your toes, as we say. And we are going to cover all the various different fintech verticals. We'll get into the revolution going on in banking and open banking. We'll talk about insurtech, what's happening in insurance, and regtech in regulation. We'll spend a lot of time talking about the payment sector because that's where a lot of the great fintech innovations are coming in. We'll also be talking about the personal financial apps and various other types.
And there's modern technology for you.
Oh, yes, yes.
In between it all.
Yes, and we're going to get into the crypto space. You'll learn a lot more about various cryptos and how to use them, and getting into basically blockchain technology and its potential for really revolutionizing a lot of financial products. Now, and I'll let Shai talk about the entrepreneurial side.
Yeah, so I guess to build on what I've said about the way the entrepreneurship component works, in the beginning, we're going to put you into teams, and you will self-select into a case study that a company and a vertical that you have interest in, and then you'll be working together not just to analyze that company using these frameworks and tools, but you will actually have some discussions. You'll talk to customers of that company to try to understand and really extract the key points of the value proposition, and also to understand the other competitors that are in that space. Same kind of analysis you would be doing if you were looking to enter that space yourself, right? So we also encourage the students to reach out to leaders within that company, and we'd like each team to try to have at least one interaction where you're talking with someone as far up the chain as you can find, but sometimes that can even just be a local manager. We've had student teams talk to a few direct frontline employees, and it's so interesting to understand the gaps in perception between sometimes what these already established companies, why they think their customers are coming to them, and then they find out it's something completely different. And so, and these are the kinds of lessons that entrepreneurs have to learn over and over again when they're creating new products and services. And so I guess one way of thinking about it is we're letting you do that in a safe environment where instead of betting your capital and betting all of your time on a brand new idea, you're first gaining a hands-on understanding of what works and doesn't work within the existing field of FinTechnology today.
And just going into a little bit more, I mean, I think a lot of people have asked the question, like with the modules, again, we talked about the areas that you're going to cover and what each module within the course is going to look like. But on average, how much time does it take if somebody's doing it within their either part of their, if they're working and they're doing it on the side, how many hours a week, and like how long is expected required for the applicants to actually spend on the course per week?
Yeah, I expect people will probably spend somewhere between 5 and 10 hours per week in the course, and you'll get as much out of the course as you put into it. It's a certificate program, so you don't get a grade at the end. You get a certificate which says, you've done this. But the more time and more effort you put into it, the more you're going to learn.
Yeah, I think that's a very key thing to say. Is that I think the more effort you put into it. What about the coursework in terms of the content? What does the weekly actual schedule look like?
Okay, well, the weekly schedule starts off like this. We have some reading exercises that will introduce the topics of the week, and we also have the video content that you get to watch on your own time. Now, at the same time, there's a group exercise that you'll be doing. We also have a live session where we'll go over the exercise. We will have the opportunity to ask questions. Often we'll have a guest speaker on the topic. And then we finish off the module with an online quiz, 10 multiple choice questions. And that's the basic format for all the modules 2 through 6. As I said before, the first module, module 1, is the introduction, where we have the live sessions. And in Module 7, you'll be making your presentations.
Let's talk a little bit on the way to that. So they will be guided, and then at the end, how does the last module 7, what is expected from the teams that have formed? How does the finale go?
Okay, well, the last finale has a couple of aspects to it. First of all, one of the great things about FinTech is that it is a dynamic area and things are changing. So that, by the time, there will be things that will happen by the end of it that we can't foresee now. So we have some time in there for some live sessions, basically update us to the most current happenings, also another guest speaker or two. And but also what we'll be doing is you'll be presenting the results of your entrepreneurship exercise. And I will let my colleague, Shai, take it away and talk more about how that's going to work.
Thank you, Professor Angel. So from the entrepreneurship component, every week after the opening session, as I said, we'll form teams and you'll select your case study project. And then, and we'll give you an introduction to entrepreneurial thinking and sort of the overview of how you're going to proceed on that project. Then during the modules, you'll watch a series of videos and complete some other exercises and some reading on the topic. And you'll be working together with your teammates as you start to build and what we call reverse engineer the different frameworks that support the business model for the company that you're studying. We'll post discussions each week about the modules so that you'll be able to share what you're learning, and I will interact with you as well. That's a place for us to share some Q&A along the way. And then towards the end of the program, we have a mid-course check-in during Module 4, where I will actually go live with each of the teams within the sector, and we'll have a discussion. We'll get updates from you on what's happening, and I will provide some guidance of how to set you up for success for the showcase at the end of the program. And then in the final weeks of the course, you will actually be creating a 4-minute video summary of your findings, of everything that you've learned about this company, how they operate, what you learned from customers, and what your recommendations are. As if you were running this company yourself, if you were driving the bus here, based on what you've now learned, how would you suggest they move forward? What things would you be concerned about in the future? What do you think their biggest threats are? And what do you think are the biggest opportunities they might be able to exploit? All of those videos will be posted, and each student will conduct a peer review of 2 other videos. So you'll submit your team's video, and then you'll review 2 other videos from other teams. And all of that feedback will be captured. Of course, Professor Angel and I and some other faculty here at Georgetown will take a look at the videos as well. And then we'll compile some scores, and the final 7 videos will be presented at the showcase. And in addition to those final 7 videos that are presented, you will have a 10-minute, those teams will get a 10-minute Q&A session with our panelists, which will consist of local judges that are in industry. Some of them are venture capital investors. So you'll really get some feedback from some experts in the business, and that'll help to increase your network as well.
Thank you, Shai, for that. That brings me just a question that's coming to my head in terms of if, a core part of this program is the skills that they learn. And from your side, give me a general picture in terms of, I can see that it's important, the entrepreneurial skills are part of it. What other skills will they learn along the way in terms in the program?
Would you like me to start, or would you, Professor Angel?
I'll let you start, Shai. Go for it.
Okay. Well, I think, what's exciting to us about the way we think about entrepreneurship at Georgetown and the way we teach it is it's not just about starting companies, right? So yes, of course, you will learn how to think about the types of things that are important when you're starting a new venture or launching a new product. But that's just the tip of the iceberg. This program teaches you so much more than that. Probably the most important thing it teaches you about is how to test your ideas. And it teaches you about developing empathy and understanding about human behavior and how people make choices about what they consume. And the psychology of that when you can learn about behavior and then map it to a process where you can test behavior, that's where you can really reduce the risk of failure in any kind of venture that you're working on. But more importantly, you really gain an understanding of how to think about how to solve problems. So you're going to leave here with a problem-solving framework that you can apply right now in other areas of your professional life and frankly, even your personal life, because it teaches you how to, it's almost like a course in applied empathy and applied strategy, because you really learn how to think about problems from the user's point of view, from the point of view of the person that has the problem. And once you get yourself on the same side of the table as that individual, then you open yourself up to a whole world of possible solutions. This is where innovation really comes from. And those are the skills that you'll take from this course.
So James, I don't know if you want to add to that as well.
It's hard to add to that, but basically, in addition to the skills about how to think, you'll also be learning quite a bit about the various areas of financial technology. You'll have a real understanding of where the financial technology is coming from and where it's going. You'll have an understanding of what kind of opportunities are worth pursuing. And that's basically what you'll be learning, how to think.
Which is a great question, I think. And I mean, I think even now in these times, we have one question from one of our viewers. It's, if I'm correct, it is Hussein. Hussein actually asked to cover, hi Hussein, welcome to today, and thank you for joining for this webinar. Is this program tailor-made for Bahrain only is the question that he's asked, and absolutely not. It is open to the MENA region and Southeast Asia. So it is not only made for Bahrain, and it is 100% online. I think that you also asked that same question. So anyone can join, but it's also maybe, Jim, if you can just repeat, because we have more viewers that came in the beginning and asked you, who is this program for and who are the core, the sort of, whether it's the age group or the type of background, who can join this program?
Well, the program is basically open to anyone who really has a thirst for learning more about fintech. I mean, most of our attendees are serious professionals. As I mentioned earlier, some of them are technical people wanting to get into finance. Some of them are finance people wanting to learn about the technology side. Some of them are people from other areas like law or other areas wanting to learn more about both. That the age range is everywhere from the mid-20s up into the late 50s, early 60s. So we do have a nice diversity of attendees, and that is actually good, because that way, when you're working with a group, you get a variety of different skills and backgrounds. And in terms of the Bahrain Focus, it is one of the things that differentiates our program is we basically do have a focus on the Middle East, North Africa region. That we pay a lot of attention to Islamic finance. We bring in an expert on Islamic finance to sort of bring us up to speed on that. And also Islamic fintechs. The Islamic finance website says there are now over 250 Islamic finance fintech out there. So I think that's one of the things that is important. And that's, I think, one of the things that differentiates us from other programs.
I don't know if you want to add anything to that, but I was just saying, we've got similar along the same lines, as again, asking about the program. We have one viewer who's anonymous asking if it's suitable for a senior banker. I think, again, they're asking about the content of the course and what level do you have to be in order to be a part of it. Do you come in with no knowledge? If you have a lot of knowledge, does it cover that as well? In terms of if you're a senior banker, or if you're already in the financial industry, what would you say to those people that are attending, or in general, like for people that may want to be at a different or a more advanced level?
Oh, that is a really good question. Well, the real question is, do you have the time to actually invest more in your human skill set? If you're a senior banker and you're working 80-hour weeks on deals, you need to think about whether you're willing to actually put in the time. And also look at the curriculum and ask yourself, is this the kind of material I want to learn more about? So I found with many senior people, they have a wealth of knowledge in one particular fairly narrow area, but they may be totally clueless as to what's going on in some of the other areas. So, a senior banker may know a lot about commercial lending or a lot about payments, but really want to learn a lot more about what blockchain technology is and how it can change the banking business. So I would say, look at the curriculum, look at the material and say, hey, is this the kind of material I want to learn? Yes. Now, on the other side, again, a senior banker may have a lot of experience with a particular product, but with all the new technology coming out here, that means there are going to be a lot of new products. So how do we find the customers to actually make new products successful? So if you want to learn more about the entrepreneurship side, and then again, this course would be for you. But if you think you already know all that stuff, well, then it's then you'd want to skip it. We don't spend a lot of time doing finance 101. We're not going to give you lots of exercises on the time value of money and things like that. That's not really relevant for what we're doing here. So I would say, look at the material. If that's what you want, we got it. If you want something different, well, then skip us.
Yeah, I mean, just to add to another question is, if Shai, I guess this is directed more to you. If students don't want to start their own company, if this is about entrepreneurship, how will learning about entrepreneurship help them in their careers if they don't actually, if this is not something they want to do? How does that teach them about, progressing their careers and so on?
Well, as we're all experiencing right now, the world is changing right out from under us faster than maybe ever before, right? And so the impact of something like COVID, for instance, has been so dramatic, and has actually that's where the opportunities for innovation and managing change, and again, understanding how to think about how do you shift when you have a global pandemic. How do you shift what's going on to the lens of opportunity from the lens of despair, right? And so I think what's so important about learning entrepreneurial leadership now more than ever is that it takes this skill set of rapid prototyping, rapid understanding of change, being able to operate in uncertain environments. And if you're in the fintech sector right now, frankly, if you're in the financial sector, which has been disrupted, 20-fold over the last decade alone, and we're only at the beginning of that. I mean, wait till when you hear from Professor Angel about what's happening in crypto and some of these technologies, and he's updating this in real time, right? So one of the benefits of this kind of course is it's not, as Jim says, it's not a one-on-one course. So this isn't a university course where you have maybe a stodgy. I mean, we don't do this at Georgetown, but some of you may have experienced in undergraduate courses where you're learning the same material from things that are 10 years old or 20 years old. These cases are all about things that are happening right now and how to adapt to rapid change, and what is the right mindset and tools to keep you relevant. And especially when we look at things like AI and how that's changing and machine learning, all of us have to think about how's this going to affect, what investments am I making to stay relevant in my career? What tools do I have that are going to keep me relevant? What ways of thinking do I have about understanding complex problems in a world of uncertainty? And also, how do I mentor or collaborate with those around me? Because business is now, it's a full contact sport, and it is absolutely a team sport more than ever. And again, so to me, this is not about starting a business. As I've said, if you want to start a business, this will give you the tools of understanding to be able to do just that. But we think it's about so much more that'll help you in a lot of different ways.
Right. Now, I notice online there's a question, can I join the program if I don't have a background in finance? Yes, we have many people in here, again, people from technology backgrounds, people from legal backgrounds who want to learn more about it. It's not a Finance 101 course, but you'll pick up the bits and pieces you need when we talk about things like banking and payments, financial advising, RegTech, InsurTech, and we also have the ability for interaction. You can contact us by email. We'll have office hours. You can ask questions. So if something doesn't make sense, contact us, we'll make sure it does.
Thanks, James. James, is actually a quick question. It's not in the, actually in the chat box, but I'm going to broaden it a little more. Somebody's Muktashi Benedict is asking all the panelists, wonder if this course is designed with some focus towards Africa as this market, it's booming. So, I mean, bringing that up, like, is this course designed, like, are you going to be highlighting not just the MENA region? Are we going to be looking all over the world? So I think from this person who's, wondering if this course is designed as a global course, will you be having case studies from all over the world, or,
yes.
Because he's saying that Africa, where fintech is booming. So I think that might be an important question. A lot of people ask, well, what are we focusing on in this course in terms of, case studies and also areas and regions and so on?
Yes, that's an excellent question. Fintech is inherently a global phenomenon, and our case studies, our examples are from all over the world. I'm glad you mentioned Africa. Africa is an amazing place where there's been a lot of fintech innovation. As a matter of fact, M-Pesa in Kenya is basically one of the most successful fintech operations of all time, turning telephones into payment devices. And so we have a brief segment on M-Pesa. So definitely this is a global phenomenon. And when you think about where a lot of the opportunity comes in the next century, a lot of it is in Africa, with rapid economic growth, growing population, a lot of rainfall in a lot of places in Africa, not all. There's a lot of opportunity there. And one of the great things about fintech is it provides the opportunity to leapfrog existing players. So in much the same way as mobile phones leapfrogged landlines, and in a large part of the developing world, they don't really bother with landlines because cell phones are more convenient. So we have the opportunity for fintech to provide financial inclusion for the billions of people on this planet who are still unbanked. So there's plenty of opportunity there, and a lot of it is in Africa.
Thanks for the answer, Jim. There's also an anonymous attendee asking, saying he's working on strategy development and execution. Would this course be beneficial to him if he's working on strategy development and execution in his field? So that's a question from one of the attendees.
Shai, I'll let you take that.
I think Shai,
I mean, the simple answer is yeah. Yes, we think so. I mean, this is really a course on applied strategy. So again, the focus is on fintech, but on the entrepreneurial side, you're going to be exploring business models, and you're going to be using the tools of modern entrepreneurship, the tools of the lean startup, to look at the component, to analyze, take a deep dive into the component business models of the businesses that you're studying. You're also going to benefit from other students that are doing the same thing with a very intense deep dive into the business that they're studying. So, and you're going to get to review some of their findings as well. So what will emerge from that is you'll have a different understanding of strategy as it goes to execution of various business models, because sources of innovation can come from these different components, right? And we start to see where companies have leveraged a technology, or they've leveraged another strength that they have in order to create an innovation within a marketplace that was different than what their competition was doing. And most importantly, tied into a consumer need that was sometimes undetected. And we teach you how to uncover those needs. So yeah, we think it would be very relevant.
Yeah, when you take a course in corporate strategy, one of the first questions is, what business are you in, and what business do you want to be in? So a large part of corporate strategy is choosing where and how you're going to compete, and choosing basically how you're going to differentiate yourself from your peers. And a lot of the entrepreneurship journey is exactly about that, choosing what business do you want to be in. So as you examine a particular idea or particular product, you need to ask yourself, okay, is there a market here? Can we serve this market? Is it the kind of market we can serve profitably? So those are the kind of things that you need to be considering on your entrepreneurship journey.
Thanks for that, James. Just again to remind everybody, a few questions asking again. Yeah, this time, some people asking if this is a purely online course. It is online. So Hussein, in order to answer, you are right. It is completely 100% online. In the past, it was, as you said, the face-to-face workshops, but this time we've taken it, obviously due to current situations, into to an online program. I think we've got a few questions around the same topic, which they're asking about the actual structure of working on the projects. Shai, I guess I'll leave that with you to answer in terms of how many students are per project, what kinds of projects, and how does the actual structure look like of the teamwork in the projects themselves?
Yeah, so we try to keep the teams to six members per team, and we may have multiple teams that are studying one specific vertical within the fintech space, and the interactions with those teams, we would say for your planning purposes, you should try to coordinate one meeting with your team a week to work on entrepreneurship. You may be interacting in between that with your work that you're doing on fintech, but certainly for the entrepreneurship, if you're having a team meeting every week to plan and discuss and share what you're learning and share your discovery plan around talking to some customers. By the way, this is a certificate course, and so we try to keep the constraints appropriate to the program. So we're not asking you to go out and talk to 50 customers of this company, but we are asking that each student will have interactions with a handful, maybe 3 or 4 customers of the company. We teach you how to think about having those conversations to gain some understanding, and then you come back and compare notes. So ideally, if everyone on your team does 3 interviews or 4 interviews, you're going to have 18 to 24 points of data that you can then sort of analyze and get a better understanding of what's happening. And then when you combine that with an interview of ideally an executive, co-founder, or even a senior manager at the company to understand their area of responsibility and how they think about the market and the competition, it will give you very well-rounded understanding of exactly how this company operates. And there will be things that you learn from that you can apply to your organization today.
That sounds, thanks, Shai. Thanks for answering that. Again, we have a very specific question from Suvanov Sarkar. He's saying he's a cash management professional within TB setup in a leading regional bank, and they're embarking on a digital transformation journey across cash management, SCF, and trade, starting with disruptive technology. And he goes into specifically, he's like, how can the program help him working on this project?
I think it'll help a lot. The real question is, how much do you know about all of these specific areas? Now, you work in cash management. I'm guessing you probably know a lot about that. Are you familiar with ISO 222 and XML formatting? We'll talk about that. Talking about trade finance. Are you familiar with how blockchain technology is changing trade finance? Real-time payments, again, there are a lot of different areas. What about on the crypto side? Is your organization doing anything on the crypto side? Just last week, US banks got the permission to actually custody crypto assets. So, there's a lot going on in all the different areas. And you may know a whole lot about maybe one of the modules in detail because that's what you're working on today. But do you really know, do you really have the big picture as to where the technology is coming from and where it's going? Plus, don't forget the strategic side. That just because you can launch a new product doesn't mean it's going to be a successful product. So you also need to be thinking about not just technically how can we make it work, but is this going to solve a pain point that our customers have or potential new customers have in a way that we can profitably monetize? And that's where the customer discovery and the entrepreneurship side comes in. So even if you're in a large institution and you're not thinking of starting up a brand new fintech on your own, learning the process of innovation and customer discovery is going to be extraordinarily useful. Plus, since you'll be working with fintechs, you need to have a good understanding of where they're coming from, what they're trying to do, how they're motivated, how they're funded, and that will make it easier and more productive for you to be working with them.
Thanks, James. Thanks for the answer. I mean, I just want to add to that because we have a couple of questions and I'm just going to try to put them all into one. Again, you just answered the same question that people asking, do you have to have experience in finance? I guess you've answered everyone's question. If it's something that you don't need to have experience to start off this course, right? But you need to, if there are some areas like Sunav asked just now, how much do you know about it? But to start this course, you do not need to have experience in finance or technology. Am I correct, James? And Shai?
Yeah, that's correct. We don't assume that you have. Yeah, you are correct. We don't assume that you have a degree in finance or 10 years of professional experience, anything like that. We explain the concepts you need as we go along. That again, it's not a course in time value of money or a course in investments. It's a course in financial technology. So you'll learn the financial institutional details as we go along, and if we use a little something, if we go a little too fast in one particular area, you can always ask questions. I mean, we are available by email in our office hours, in our live sessions. And the nice thing about the videos is if something goes too fast, you can rewind, watch it again. And if it doesn't make sense, you can drop me an email and we'll make sure it makes sense for you.
And I think that's very interesting. It's not like the past where you go to class and then if you don't remember it, you're finished. You can replay. I mean, I think that's one of the great things about, an online course and the live sessions and the videoed. So you will have access to these, when you need them. And just to answer somebody's question about how long is the duration of the program and how many hours per week, Jim, if you want to recap, I think that wasn't clear. Sure. Again, how long and how many hours?
It's a 12-week program starting up in September, and we expect people to put in between 5 and 10 hours per week. Again, this is targeted at working professionals. We know that you have a life. You have a day job. You probably have family, that other things going on in your life. I know in the COVID world, we're all basically stuck in our houses, but we understand you have other things going on in your life. I believe it'll be a transformational educational experience if you're willing to put in between 5 and 10 hours per week. Each module lasts about 2 weeks, and each module starts off with some readings, some videos. You have group exercises. We'll have a live session and a short 10-question multiple choice quiz at the end of each mod. So it's basically designed to fit into a working professional's life.
Well, I know that we're almost done with our session, but into the attendee and the panelist message system, you're going to see the email. So if you have any more questions for James or Shai or for ourselves at Fintech Consortium, please feel free to drop us the email on the same email that you received your registration link. Just reply back to it and we'll be happy to direct the questions or answer more questions that you have. Our team is working on this all the time to make sure that we get everything done. James and Shai, any last few words, anything you want to say before I conclude for today? Anything you want to tell these people that are, some of them have signed up for the course, some people are considering it. Do you have any words for them before we venture out?
Of a financial technology revolution. It's been going on for some time and it will continue to go on for some time. So it's a really fun area. So not only is this program designed to increase your business skills, but I think you'll really enjoy it as well. It's fun.
Yeah, and I would say that now more than ever is a great time to improve yourself and to really think about how can I refresh my toolkit? As James says, there is a revolution going on in this sector in particular, which is what makes it so compelling. And I've learned so much from my participation in this course and from working with Professor Angel about what's exciting in this space as well. But I think that whenever there's a period of disruption, again, what follows is a period of great opportunity. So what are you doing for yourself really to prepare for that? This is a wonderful opportunity to expand your network and gain some skills that you can apply right away to improve your situation and help you prepare for what's next. And we hope you'll join us.
Absolutely. Well, thank you, gentlemen. I'm just going to conclude. So from what I've heard in your discussions today, if you're someone out there that wants to gain practical skills to pursue a career in fintech and innovation, or learn how to develop the skills for your own fintech startup, this program is for you. If you want to understand business strategies or identify principles to develop a blueprint of digital transformation for your organization, this is also for you. If you want to expand your network with like-minded fintech practitioners, entrepreneurs, executives, digital leaders, and any other professionals in this wide-ranging industry with backgrounds from across the world, then this is for you. And the last thing that I got as well from this is if you want to study with a leading business school, such as Georgetown, which is ranked amongst the best in the world for entrepreneurship, and then to obtain a FinTech program certificate for you, this is definitely the program for you. I think I've learned that today, and I hope everybody out there is considering joining this program. And thank you, Professor James and Professor Shai. We look forward to seeing you soon, and everyone have a great afternoon or morning or day, wherever you are. Thank you for joining us.
Thank you, Susie.
Thank you, bye-bye.
Thank you.
Be well.
Shukran.